Hey, good afternoon, guys. Welcome to today's episode or edition, I should say, of my Get Ready for Greatness Lunch and Learn workshop. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you are checking me out on Facebook, please be sure to like the page, share it, and also get over to our Get Ready for Greatness page because there you're going to find all the videos in this series are going to be over there. And you can also check us out. If you're checking us out, you can live. You can do that at richardcuff.com. That'll take you over to our Facebook Live. I should say our YouTube Live. And there at the Get Ready for Greatness page, you can find all of the videos in this series as well. Definitely want you to subscribe, like the videos, ring that bell so that you'll get the alerts whenever we put up a new video. Um, Also, log on to getreadyforgreatness.com. There you will be able to get your free, set up your free coaching profile, and we'll be able to communicate with you on a regular basis. So then also log on to our you well the the psfactor.com. That's it, the psfactor.com. That'll take you to our um, podcast. So you can support the podcast there. So those are all of the pages that should connect you to everything. Of course, you can follow me at Richard Cuff on Facebook and Twitter at Richard Cuff, also LinkedIn. And then Cuff the Comedian is at Instagram. And just guys, I just want you to become part of this community. I'm looking forward to communicating with you personally as we set up your coaching profiles and individual coaching sessions. Also, at getreadyforgreatness.com, you're going to begin to see over the next couple of weeks and months that we'll start adding more coaches that are going to be able to reach you um, right where you are. By no means do I consider myself the answer to everybody's coaching needs. I just created this world, if you will, that provides everything that you're going to need to launch a business or to just better your life. Not everybody is going to take this information and go toward becoming an entrepreneur. We'll talk more about what our community, what the community looks like. In fact, I'll mention that in this section, in this session today. But we're going to continue as we are now at day 12 in our 21 Days to Greatness series. We're on module 2, which are the 7 steps to overcoming adversity. And this would be step number 5 in that process. This know that it's okay to quit and run as you pray and fight. I'm going to definitely break that down for you. But also, this is I'm introducing my lunch basics of business ownership lunch and learn workshops. So we're covering that information as well. So you basically are getting 2 in 1 here. We're focusing on the nuts and bolts of what it takes to start a business, but also the on the spiritual, emotional side, the what it takes to lift your consciousness, your conscious awareness, what I call your PS factor, to that highest level. So let's get started with this. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're just going to jump right into the session. So today's the Get Ready for Greatness Lunch and Learn workshop, as I mentioned, we're going to focus on the continue with the Lunch and Learn workshop, the basics of business ownership. And but first, let me let you know about the 3 companies that are making the cultural capital marketplace possible. First is CTI Marketing. That's my marketing firm, and I guess for all intents and purposes, it's my day job. It's the thing that I do and I love to do most. But I also owned Consentel and Consentel Mobile. Consentel LLC is the parent company, and Consentel Mobile is our tech company. But it's also the customer service component, and where we have our CRM and all of our uh, management of the community. So your business will use all of the services that come from the Consento side of the house. And then there's Nasimba Business Alliance, and that's the organization of all of our members. I started Nasimba 20 years ago just as a place for my clients to begin to network with each other. But it just over the last 20 years, it has expanded. And we were in anticipation. We're celebrating 20 years this year, and I was ready to launch national, and we were going to be doing our these lunch and learn workshops were actually going to be workshops that we were doing in our partner cities, where it's actually lunch and learn and actual physical networking. But thank you, coronavirus, we now are uh, physically distancing, or social distancing as they call it, and everything has now gone virtual, because that's really the best way that we can now communicate with each other and not infect each other with this virus that has reached pandemic level and has affected the world. But it has brought us all to one common thing. We now have our focus in the same place, and although certain people are bringing their beliefs and their ideologies along with them, um, some will never let go of their comfort zone, the thing that they're accustomed to. They want to bring that with them. That's part of the process. But that's what this coaching process, this series, these workshops are about. It's helping you to recognize what you need to do to get ready for greatness and move to that next level. So for the last couple of days, I've been talking about the 7 stage consulting process. I want to continue with that. We're just going to quickly give you a overview of what we discussed. That the 7 stage consultation process begins with visualization, writing the vision down, and then from that vision, you will be able to go to consultants, advisors, people who will be able to read your vision clearly and be able to give you the advice that you need. They'll run with it and be able to help you run even faster. So, and guys, I'm going to have my Zen tea moment while I'm doing this. This is a great tasting tea. My goodness. Okay, so it's relaxing also. So once you get past that consultation stage, then you're going to move into the stage of planning, and you are going to plan that which you've been consulted on, and that which you have as your vision, so that you're drawing a straight line from visualization all the way through this process, consultation, planning. And then once the planning stage is complete, you'll move into implementation. At this point, you can take these first 3 stages really, and short of implementing, you can save yourself thousands and tens of thousands of dollars by working with coaches, consultants, advisors, and recognizing that you have to go through those first 3 stages. Most people, however, when they have the idea to start a business, they bypass these 3 stages and jump right to implementation and sort of figure it out as they go along. And that's the most costly, that's the most risky. And most people believe that entrepreneurs are risk takers. And I say entrepreneurs are risk mitigators. They know how to lower the risk. And once the risk is as low as it can possibly get, then the entrepreneur moves. Now, it still may be risky, but the true entrepreneur has thought this thing all the way out. A lot of times, that dream or that vision, that idea has been circling around in that entrepreneur's mind for years before they actually take that first step. So on the surface, it may look like they just drove by the street, saw that building, and said, "Oh, I'm going to go in and lease that space, and I think I'll put a bakery in there." That's what it may look like on the surface. But in reality, it began back at the visualization stage, long before they implemented it. Then once it's implemented, the next stage, I call it control. But I call it control just so that I can say this. Control is a myth. It's something you think you have until the moment you lose it. Or balance, even balance is a myth. It's you won't have balance. What you have is harmony, or a better way to look at it is you have priorities. You if once you set the right priority, then you can have balance. You can have control. And then you can, most importantly, though, it's not about thinking control. You want to think preparation. You want to be prepared for what could go wrong. Now, can was anybody prepared for the economy to collapse, for everybody to be quarantined, for our federal government to lose its ever-loving mind, for us to be caught up in climate change and all these things to happen all at once? Could you have ever thought that that would happen? Does it matter? No, it doesn't matter if you are prepared. You when you create your list, and by the way, that's the key, is to create a list with 7 points, and you're going to have that list follow you all the way through the visualization stage. When you If you use this process with the client, you own a consulting firm or a coaching firm, and you take your client through these 7 stages, you take them through these 7 stages with a 7 point list that you create in the visualization process. Well, that list is the ideal vision. You create a 7 point list. Then you take that list over to the consultation phase, and now you're going to use that list for your consultation. When it comes time to plan, what are you going to do? You're going to roll that list over, and now it becomes a planning list. It's the same 7 things that were in visualization consultation, but they look totally different in planning, because now you're putting prices, dollar amounts, costs. You're taking each one of those things on that list and you're planning. Now you're going to implement. How do you know what to implement? Everything that's on the list. Then preparation. What are you going to prepare for? Um, um, any circumstance that may come up, any unforeseen things you're going to prepare for based on what's on the list. And that you'll just keep coming back to that list. Once you get past the preparation stage, now you're into completion. How do you know when you're complete? When you can check everything. How do you know when you have completed everything? When you can check everything off the list. Then after completion comes evaluation. What's the best way to evaluate? Take that list and see how close it came to what you saw in the visualization stage. This 7 stage process, guys, I kid you not, has allowed me to close clients on $30,000 contracts. And the only reason why I didn't build my business further was 2 things. Number one, I knew that when I took on a second and a third and a fourth client, I wasn't able to service that first client as well as I did prior to that. Then I found myself hiring staff and bringing other people on. And there I was creating now a bigger job for me to do. And I realized that that was not what my system was designed to do. And so I had to rethink the process. And taking the traditional business model, I redesigned this process literally by focusing only on the first three: visualization, consultation, and planning. And I created what's now called incubation funnels. So we incubate your business, and you go through a 3 stages now. You go through the creation stage, and that's in the visualization slash consultation. And then you go into incubation, that's planning and implementation, and right up to preparation, that those 3 stages in the middle. And then the final stage is acceleration, where you come out of those last 3 stages through completion and evaluation, and you start the process all over again. But each time you go through the process, you're going faster and faster, and your business is scaling and growing. So I'm going to show you how the virtual incubator process works, just taking those first 3 segments, those first 3 stages: visualization, consultation, and planning, as it relates to the traditional business model. So if you've never owned a business before, you probably have not given much thought to the mechanics of what makes that business work. You go into the business, You buy your product, you walk out the door, and you don't give a second thought to what must that entrepreneur have done to make that business operate on a daily basis. Or maybe you are thinking about starting a business and you're trying to understand all the inner workings. Well, it begins with you, the entrepreneur, having this idea, visualization. You're visualizing what your business is going to look like, and then you move and you become that business owner. You start that business. You're offering this product or service. Now, once you're into offering the product or service, this is where the PS factor comes in. Originally, when I started coaching in this way and showing the traditional business model, I showed four different modules. And the one module that I would always say that the entrepreneur was in complete control over, or as much as they could be in control, was the PS part, the product or the service. It later evolved to becoming physical and spiritual because entrepreneurship is a spirit. And I wanted you to see that you need to separate what your entrepreneurial spirit is doing as opposed to your enterprising nature. You have an enterprising nature. That's the part of you that wants to venture out and do stuff, do things, start your own business. Um, as you start your business, hold on, guys. Let me um, do this real quick. All right, so guys, you got that. We got that seven-stage consulting process going, and as I mentioned, the this allowed me to create a really good income for me and my business, and I was able to operate as a one-man show for the longest. But I realized I needed to begin to teach this traditional business model, and so I started working and create. I created the PS Factor again, where it went from product and service, then it became physical, spiritual, and then the understanding that not only was it that you go from a physical, you just don't snap a finger and go from physical to spiritual. It doesn't happen like that. There's a process. So in this process of going from physical to spiritual, you you're growing from physical, and that's the PS1. But the definition of the PS factor is that it's your level of conscious awareness of your natural God-given ability to attract a successful outcome in any given situation. When you know that you know that you know that you know that you're going to be successful, then your PS factor is constantly evolving and moving up. I talked about that with in the first module, the first 7 days of these 21 days to greatness. I talked about the progressive mindset, and I'm going to sort of reinforce that and over that, go over it a little bit more in another couple days. But I want to first put all 21 components of the three modules. I want to get through all of those. But let's look at the PS factor. There's a PS factor where you are conscious on the physical level. And I'll just think of it like an iceberg and the law of attraction. You've heard of the law of attraction. Everybody talks about the law of attraction. We're all attracting, and you can attract success, and you can attract wealth, and you can attract whatever you think of because thoughts are things. Yes, you can use the law of attraction, and the law of attraction is real. But the law of attraction is just one of the four great laws, as I call them. There are four great laws. And in this Get Ready for Greatness program, I emphasize those four great laws. So, what are the four great laws that all work together? First is the law of consciousness. That's the first great law. Now, the law of consciousness alone is not enough because you have to be aware. That's what distinguishes us from basic animals and trees. Trees literally are conscious. Trees have a consciousness. They are consciously aware of the sun and they need the sun to beam down on them. They are consciously aware that they need to move this water from the ground through the roots and into those leaves and spread out for the sun. Trees have a consciousness. Um, I love Stevie Wonder's album. He did a album back in the '70s, "Songs in the Key of Life," um, and that is and his whole theme was about connecting to nature and the things that were around us. So a lot of people believe this, and I believe it too, that plants and trees and animals have a level of consciousness. It's just that their level of consciousness doesn't rise to the level of awareness, which is the second great law. So the bird, the flower, the bee, the trees, all of those just do what they were designed to do. Even a virus, it does what it's designed to do, and it doesn't give any awareness. It doesn't say, "Oh my God, I can't go into that little baby right there because that I will kill that baby if I get into that baby's lungs." So the virus passes the baby. It doesn't have an awareness like that. It has a consciousness, yes, man, because these viruses are doing some amazing things. It's really amazing what trees are doing with oxygen and how they or carbon dioxide that they're breathing in and converting it to oxygen that they push out and we breathe in. It's amazing what all of these things are doing at the level of consciousness where they are. But we move up to the second great law, and that's awareness. So we have conscious awareness. We know that we are able to use our words to convey a thought. Dog can bark, yes, but he's not aware that he's conveying a thought to a human. He maybe to another dog at the least, but our awareness allows us to use our sounds to shape words and symbols and give meaning to various things that help us build everything that is around us. That's the first great law of consciousness and the second great law of awareness. I'm going to skip the third one for a minute because I want you to see what happens when you go from conscious awareness and the law of attraction. You go and now you're consciously aware of your ability to attract things with your thoughts, and you jump out there and consciously aware of your the fourth great law, the law of attraction, and now you're calling everything into your life. You're bringing everything in, but you skipped a major law, and this is one that God put in place for our benefit. It's the third great law is the law of limitation. Because without the law of limitation, you would literally manifest every thought that you have. But there are certain limitations on what we do because, God is just kind enough that I'm not sitting here one day thinking about an airplane crashing into this building. Man, what would it be like if an airplane crashed into the building and then bam, very next second, there's an airplane crashing into the building? If my thoughts were to do that, that would be crazy. You'd want to talk about social distancing and the dangerous thing. You think a virus is dangerous. Imagine our thoughts immediately manifesting whatever we thought. Man, I can't stand you. I wish you were dead. Bam. That would happen? No. So there are limitations. The problem with the law of limitation is that limitations can limit the good and the bad. So you're not attracting the wealth or the success that you want in life because you are limiting your thoughts at the physical level. But once you become aware of the next level, you move up to PS2, that mental awareness. And you got consciousness on the physical level, awareness on the physical level. Now you got consciousness and awareness on the physical and the mental. But now you've got to realize that your thoughts can go to a higher level, and that's where your emotions are. And emotion is simply an extremely fast subconscious evaluation of whatever that situation is. Emotions were designed to keep your brain from having to think too long. Our emotions evolved with a way that we can think. And it sort of brings all of the parts of our body in together. We have we have the thoughts that are actually in our brain, but then we have those thoughts that resonate in feelings and sensations in our heart. And literally, when you say I felt it in my gut, scientists are discovering that there are sensors in our gut that actually detect the food that we are eating and send signals back to the brain to tell the body to do certain things. So you that gut feeling is for real. You probably there are more sensors, and I can't remember exactly where I saw this article, but there are as much or at least as much going on in your gut as there is in your brain. It's like having a brain in your gut, but you also have it. The same thing is happening in your heart and happening in your mind, and all three of these are working together to help you understand the world that is around you. Can you imagine though if you had to control all of that yourself consciously in order to make your heart beat, in order to make your food digest, in order to make the oxygen in your that you just breathe in to make it go one way through the left side of the heart to go around and come back in through the right side and then to convert the oxygen that you breathe and go into the blood cells and as waste your blood cells kick out carbon dioxide that you breathe out. Can you man, I'd be dead if I had to physically do that myself. I didn't do too well in biology class. You think I can run my own biology? No, no. And I don't think you can either. And that's why we've evolved this thing where we can operate without thought. And on the emotional level, that's what is happening. Your thoughts are simply on steroids, happening real fast without you thinking. So without giving any man, and by the way, this tea gets really good as I get down to the bottom, maybe because there's that sugar hanging down around. I'm getting that sugar high or something. I don't know, but it's good. So your emotions are extremely fast thoughts, right? So your emotions send signals to your brain. You hear if you're sitting in your office, or let's say I'm sitting here and suddenly a Tyrannosaurus Rex somehow just appeared from the movie, like in the movie Jurassic Park, and it just ripped this part of the wall out, and it just did that. I guarantee you, without thought, I'm going to be out of this building before I even think about what my feet are doing. And there's a part of you that's that fight or flight, and certainly I ain't gonna be trying to go to fight side. We ain't gonna do no fight club with a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's all flight for me, baby, because that's what your emotions are going to do. And you got to realize that that's what's going on in your brain, man. Your physical, mental, emotional is going on. But when you separate and go from that emotional level to that spiritual level, you literally lose the need for any sort of physical connections. You don't need a body. You don't even need a mind. You don't need any sort of input to tell you anything because what you are running on is pure feelings. And I keep reinforcing this, guys. When I'm pinching my hand, it's not that I feel myself pinching my hand. It's that I can sense that my hand is being pinched. That's a sensation, not a feeling. The feeling that I'm talking about is that which you emanate from your energy self, your self beyond your physical. That part of you that's beyond the physical. That if you had no hands, no legs, no, if you had no physical body, you would still have these feelings. And just like there are the four great laws, the law of consciousness, the law of awareness, the law of limitation, and the law of attraction, there are five great feelings. These five great feelings are gratitude, forgiveness, respect, compassion, and love. You don't need a physical body to to feel those five great feelings toward each other, to people in your life. Gratitude, forgiveness, respect, compassion, and love. Those five great feelings are like arrows in your quiver that whatever the situation is, you can grab one of those and shoot it and it answers. And then guess what? You got that universal arrow, love. Love is universal. So you can feel love on the physical, the mental, the spiritual, the emotional. You can feel love is everywhere. Why? Because God is love, and everyone who loves is born of God. And if you do not love, it means you're not connected to God because you don't know. How can you know love if you don't know the creator of love? So what you're feeling is it ain't love. That's just a really good sandwich, you know. You don't love her. If you don't know what love is, you cannot show love. So you don't love your mate, your spouse, your husband, your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. You don't love them. You just kind of like it a lot. And like a lot, a whole lot of like can feel like love until that let it fall off the rails. Let it go a quick left turn when it should have gone right. And then you figure out the difference between like a lot and love. You love will help you overcome that bump. When love is nowhere around, man, it gets ugly. So you got gratitude, forgiveness, respect, compassion, and love. Those are the five great laws. Consciousness, awareness, limitation. I mean, those are the five great feelings: consciousness, awareness, limitation, and attraction. Those are the four great laws. So those are all part of this PS factor. Now, as an entrepreneur, how does this look in your business? If you Pareto principle, I'll kind of go over this quickly because I don't want to get too long. I went over it yesterday. You can watch the video. But 80-20 rule says that 80% of your action is going to bring 20% of the result. Um, if you're trying to raise $1 million with 1,000 people, you're not going to get $1,000 from each of the 1,000 people. The Pareto principle is going to apply. 20% of the people are going to be responsible for raising 80% of the money, and 80% of the people are going to be responsible for raising 20% of the money. It's sort of a rule that works out, just a good general rule. You can do that with any of your customers. You can do that with looking at your finances. You can literally take all your money and look at where you're spending it, and you'll find that 80% of your money is going to 20% of your vendors, while 20% of your money is going to 80% of the vendors. So your bills, two out of 10 people in your bill paying are getting the majority of your money. Your car payment and your mortgage, add those up. I guarantee you, it's like if you got 8 other bills, I guarantee you car payment and mortgage, and then maybe student loans are taking 80%. That's the 80-20 rule all day long. Well, if 80% of your focus is on your business, your product or service, then only 20% of your focus is going to be on marketing, accounting, and customer service. But how does that relate to the 80-20 rule? Well, guess what? Because 80% of your focus is on your marketing, I mean on your product or service, it's only responsible for 20% of your success. Yeah. All that work you're doing, it's not getting you. And you want to know why the economy gets so bad so fast, is because the moment we stop working, everything collapses. Because we suddenly start hearing words like essential and non-essential, right? Now we go to the essential workers. And guess what happens? Suddenly you realize the essential workers are those that you've been walking past, like, hey, see you, hey there, Freddie at the grocery store. You never saw Freddie as essential. You've been parking your Lexus in that parking space, walking into the grocery store, walking past Freddie there standing with that green apron, getting those shopping carts, and you walking past him, and Ted is there stocking the shelves, and you've been walking past him all these years until you go into the grocery store and there's no toilet paper, there's no canned goods. You're concerned that there are germs now on the shopping cart. So you now suddenly find yourself waiting for this non-essential person that you thought was non-essential. You're now waiting for him to wipe down the cart. Why? Because when it boils down, when you remove all that nonsense, you realize that that 20% that you've been ignoring is actually 80% of the reason for your success or failure. So what do you do when you realize that? Well, the most business owners make the mistake of hiring a staff. And therefore, 80% of their staff on the surface appears to be non-essential. So that's the first thing that they do. They get rid of that 80%, or I should say 20% of the staff appears to be non-essentials. But remember, 20% of that staff is bringing you 80% of your wealth. And that's why once most businesses had to let go of that 20%, they had to go to the federal government and get loans to make up for it. Guys, I'm telling you, this 80-20 rule is powerful and is working throughout your business. That 80% that you've been putting your focus is really not that much, not responsible for that much of your business, not your success or failure. It's usually that 20% that you've been ignoring. Marketing, accounting, and customer service usually gets ignored. So what do? Hire a staff, right? So business hires a staff, brings on management. And let's just say between management, accounting, and bookkeeping and customer service, you get that on the cheap. And you can somehow, I don't know how you're going to do it, but let's just say you get 3 employees at $73,000 a year full time to cover your business while you are out doing whatever it is that you do. Now, you haven't made a dime yet, and you're spending almost $75,000, $25,000 an employee, which again, that's not likely, but you get it. You're spending it. But you can see now you've got to make $75,000 just to break even. And you're beginning to understand now why businesses charge for their product or service in the way that they do, why they need upfront capital, why it's important to have a business plan and investors and all those things. Yes, you may have the faith and the belief that you can just jump out there and do it, but you really have to give some thought to these things. So even if the entrepreneur has $6,100 in expenses, can use a service like ours where they become an incubator client, then as you can see where the entrepreneur was previously focused on all 4 of those boxes, the product or service and marketing, accounting, and customer service. What we do is we use our software and our consultants to lower that cost so that the entrepreneur can focus on what they went into business to do. And then we are able to, because that's our only focus, marketing, accounting, and customer service, we're able to eliminate over half the cost. And once we eliminate over half the cost, even if the entrepreneur is paying us $3,000 a month, they still are saving $36,000 a year. So it's a definite win-win. This has been a business model for me that's kept me in business for 25 years. But my heart has always been with the little guy. So my goal was to lower that price and bring it in around 179 a month. And so that's what we've done is we've developed the system that allows the entrepreneur to allocate about $2,100, $2,200 for the monthly cost and pay an annual membership. But the total is still less than $4,000. And you could see just a few slides earlier, that entrepreneur was looking at almost $75,000 of costs. So how successful could your business be if you could eliminate $70,000 worth of costs simply by operating your business more efficiently? Now, I'm showing you how our system works, and I'm not saying that this is the only way to do that. There are hundreds and even thousands of consultants, business systems that are out there, but they all work the same way. The whole idea is about maximizing productivity, maximizing efficiency, reducing costs, eliminating redundancies, all of those kinds of things to get to this point. It's just that I've created a formula that's different than anybody that's out there, and this is ours. So, how does that work? I told you those 3 components earlier: visualization, consultation, and planning. We offer it through our Nasimba Business Alliance because as the alliance grows, portions of the Business Alliance memberships go into helping you to form your business by reducing the cost through shared resources. So once we create a call center to answer the phones for one business, that call center can answer the phones for up to 1,000 businesses. It's the same cost for us. That once we build the call center is built. The phone system is there. The monthly bill is going to be the same for that first call. Now, what will happen is the next call will be a fraction of the first one, where we just add that cost and it keeps going. And in fact, the more we add, the lower our costs become and more efficient we become, the better they become at answering the phones, and the artificial intelligence that we use, the CRMs, the software, and all of those things help us to better understand your customer, better understand your business. So we become more efficient, we become better as you become more profitable by not having that weight on you. So when we take you through this process, we're going to take you through our first stage, and that's becoming a basic business member at just $149. Usually you're going to pay about $49 a month. Consultation, when you're ready to move to that next level, if you're able to do it within a year, you could do this first stage within 90 days, and then you're ready to move into the next stage that could last for 6 months, this virtual incubator space. And you're probably paying about $649 for the year and maybe $149 a month. So you're still not up to the $4,000 a year. And then finally, this is the one that I showed earlier, where your total cost here at the 649 for the year and about 179 to 249 a month at the most, maybe in that first year, you're somewhere between, 45, 40, 3,700. Let's say 4,000 to maybe $4,500. Still, you are growing your business and probably paying a tenth of the business revenue that you're generating. And that's really what this program was designed to do, to make certain that your operating costs would never be more than 10% of what you're making in your business. When 90% of your revenue is going back to you, either in profit, dividend distribution, however you want to do that, or you're reinvesting it into the business. Now we're going to have businesses that are growing, businesses that are hiring, businesses that are building stronger in the community. They have no fat. When they fail, the whole economy doesn't fall apart. And in fact, they don't fail because this system is designed to make certain that all the costs for staying alive are paid up front. And that's what happens. So that's how the system looks. But it also how the it works with the consultation program. Now I'll show you one of the cool programs that we have is called the Credit Builder Loan. And the way that it works is we partner with banks, credit unions, and it's not like a prepaid credit card where you put your money away and now you're running up debt against that money. What this does, this helps to build your credit, because what the credit union or the banks that we partner with, they actually put $500 in your account, 500 to 1,000, and in some cases $2,000, and then on a monthly basis you're paying that money down. Now, while you're paying it down, you're going through our incubator, you're learning about business, but you're making those monthly payments and they are reporting to your credit. So you're paying the debt down and you're building up your credit. As you move along the way, because of our One Vision reward card, we're matching your savings, and you're earning points on the card every month that converts to a match that you can convert it to money. But let's just say on a small level, you got $500. You come out of the program at the end of the year. Now you've got $500 that could serve as a micro line of credit. You could use it to secure a credit card, or you could use it to go and make a purchase for equipment. Maybe you want to upgrade your membership and move up to the next level, because at the next level of membership, you become an affiliate. You may want to become a coach where you can start using the same system that helped you to get to this level. You want to help others. So now you've got a system that you can use to generate revenue until your business starts to take off. This can do it. So it doesn't matter how you get to that $50,000, $100,000 a year. Most people will use this system to make the majority of their money those first 18 months that they're in the incubator. And then they're going to shift their focus over to their business. Some people may never go back to their own business. They may find their love in helping others and prospering in that way. But you can also use it to lower your startup costs or to cover some startup costs. As I mentioned, could buy a lawnmower, a trailer for a hitch for your car, or something like that, for the pickup. You can also pay for personal coaching that will take you to the next level. And use network marketing. A lot of people speak disparagingly of network marketing. I have people that say, "Is this a pyramid scheme?" Listen to me, y'all. Everything is a pyramid. What makes it a pyramid scheme is when you're giving someone money and there is no product. That's what makes it a pyramid scheme. But our financial system is a pyramid. This hell, that's a pyramid on the back of the dollar bill. It's right there. Look at it. It's a pyramid. And people at the top are making the money. And those at the bottom are putting money in either through labor or paying your taxes, and it goes up to the top. But the pyramid crashes whenever something happens that stops that person who just signed on from being able to pay up. And that's when the pyramid crashes. When you tell somebody, hey, if you go out and sign on 3 people, you're going to make $1,000 a month. I did it. You can do it too. And that person jumps out and does it. They sign on 3 people, and they keep telling. But then they keep telling people, and then they get to that group where you tell that one person, sign on 3 people, and you'll make $1,000 a month. And then that person can't find 3 people. And then there are 1,000 other people just like that person who can't find 3 people. Guess what? The pyramid starts to collapse now because the money's not coming in at the bottom to move up to the top and pay all those paychecks. And now it starts to crumble. And believe me, by the time those at the very top start recognizing that money's not coming in as fast, man, they jump out of that and they're into a new organization. You find out 6 months later that the network marketing pyramid collapsed. But those who are at the top have already jumped onto a whole new program because they saw it coming. So yes, everything is a pyramid. In a marketplace, it's all a pyramid. One person is going to give somebody money and it's going to move up the ladder. The question is whether there's a legitimate product, whether there's a legitimate company, and whether there are legitimate owners with a heart to help those who are in the company. If you want to really get a great story of a company that started out in that pyramid model, that one person teaching another person who teaches another person, read the story of Ed Tupper of Tupperware and Brownie Wise. Brownie Wise is the woman he hired to do sales, and she's the genius behind the Tupperware parties. And she helped build that company up. I think back then he sold it for $9 million, which would have been quite a chunk of change in today's money. And he cut her out completely. I don't know, she ended up penniless as a result, but I do know this, she didn't make any money off the sale of the company that she helped to build. So yeah, pyramids happen. But network marketing, they're legitimate network marketing companies, are certainly not pyramids, and these funds can be used for that. So guys, there you have it. That's how the pricing for the organization works. And if you want more information on that, log on to getreadyforgreatness.com, create your free coaching profile, and then you can communicate directly with me by email or just shoot me a message here on Facebook, or if you want to, my email address will appear at the end of this presentation. But there you go. Let's move on to the next section that I can get this thing wrapped up. I want to talk about 7 steps to overcoming adversity. And what we've been working on this week, we're on the second module, the 7 steps to overcoming adversity. And so far, we've gone through the first 4 steps. Just a recap. This program is going to show you the meaning. We're talking about the meaning of character, help you get a better understanding of extreme adversity and how to make best of a bad situation, and then ultimately turning your scars into trophies. Step 1, remember adversity builds character. Character is defined, those attributes or traits or distinguishing qualifications or qualities or features. But my favorite, it's you and your best and your worst in any given situation. What's in you gets squeezed out of you when you go through adversity. And adversity, in the normal sense of the word, is a state of hardship, affliction, calamitous event. But believe me, that's not extreme adversity. You're under extreme adversity when it appears suddenly, takes you outside of your comfort zone, renders your current resources useless, challenges all 9 of these traits of OQP. And you, by the way, you should always consider yourself to be OQP, not just surround yourself with OQP, but strive to be OQP, only quality people. These 9 traits: fear God, love the truth, hate covetousness, dependable, loyal, capable, positive mental attitude, willing to go the extra mile, and faith. You got those, you're ready to move to step number 2. Hold on one second here. All right, so find the courage within. That's respect yourself. Don't sell your birthright for a meal. Scrutinize those new relationships. That's all part of step number two. Step number three, we talked about. Keep your eye on your goal. Answer these questions. What motivated you? What steps you have to take to get back on track? What's needed to complete the journey? Also, what plan of action is really do you need to take, and is it necessary for you to go alone? And who are your advisors? Are your advisors OQP? Step number four, cherish the small victories. We talked about this yesterday. At the end of each day, keep a journal. Feel good about even your smallest victory. Replay the successes of each day, and get into the habit of releasing the good and the bad as you move forward to the next day's challenge. Step number five, know that it's okay to quit and run as you pray and fight. And I mean literally quit and run, pray and fight. But that's also acronyms, quit, QUIT, and it's people, quitting on the real, quitting is always an option. I ain't too proud to quit. Holding on to a bad thing for too long is often what drains people. Cut your losses, man. Get out of it. My mom used to say a good run is better than a bad fight any day. But QUIT, quickly utilize independent thoughts. Think for yourself and reveal uncharacteristic nature. That's what quit and run are about. And know that it's okay to reveal your uncharacteristic nature. Pray, listen to that inner voice of yours. And also, um, remember that adversity not only comes to put you in the fight, but it comes to put the fight in you. And so, therefore, when you pray, as in PRAY, the acronym, put to rest anything yours. It was you, your decisions that got you into this mess. Chances are you and your decisions are not going to get you out of it. You need assistance. You need someone to help you with that. And so seek advice of counselors and then fight. Have faith in God and his timing. And there you have it, step number five. Tomorrow we'll talk about the sixth step, develop the ability to keep getting up. But what I want you to do is just to stay focused on the day to day movement of getting better and better. I'm hoping and praying that the person that this information um, is to reach is actually getting through. You're the mere fact that you're watching this right now says that you were attracted to this video. You were attracted to this program. There's something in your spirit that brought you to this or brought it to you. Now the question is, what do you do with it? Remember those four great laws: the law of consciousness, the law of awareness, the law of limitation, and the law of attraction. Those are the four great laws and the five great feelings: the feeling of gratitude, forgiveness, respect, compassion, and love. Those are the trip. I mean, those are going to help you along with that consciousness of the PS factor, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Those that's the triple play that's going to help you in your quest. You're moving up to the next level. So, my desire is to help you unleash your greatness and build generational wealth. And I pray that every day that you come to these trainings, every day that you're watching one of my videos, that there's something that you can say, sparked something within you. Now you'll find that although I'm talking about these in different modules and in different settings, you'll find that overall the mindset is the same, the energy is the same. It's all about separating your physical being from your spiritual being and feeding your spiritual being with the things that it needs to be fed with, and feeding your physical being with the things that it needs with which it needs to be fed. And as you're building up your life, you're beginning to see how things are evolving. So, guys, that's the program for today. Let's meet again here tomorrow, 1:30, for the next day 13 of the 21 Days to Greatness for our Lunch and Learn workshops. Also, join me for my morning commute. It's every day somewhere between 8 and 9. I'm usually leaving the house and heading to the office, and I just have a great conversation. I talk about I remember mirror the same things that we're going to do in the Lunch and Learns, but I just have a great conversation in the morning. It's some great information. I am getting closer to getting out of the house at 8 o'clock, so I can get here to the office by 8:30. Um, this shutdown has really forced me to have to find a structure because I've had the luxury of not paying attention to the clock. You'll hear me say it often: keep your eye off the clock, the checkbook, the calendar, and the map. If you truly want to allow your spirit to grow, well, my spirit is saying, okay, I can now sort of sit here in the protection mode and make certain that you stay on track. But it's time now to focus on building up this physical thing around you, including the people that are in your life. So now I'm shifting more toward this coaching thing. So look for me if you follow me on Facebook at Richard Cuff. Also go over to my Get Ready for Greatness page, like that page, sign up for the, get the alerts and follow me so that you can get the alerts when I do go live. I will, for now, I'm going live um, on my personal page, or sharing it on my personal page, but eventually I'm going to share it over onto my Get Ready for Greatness page. In fact, I'll do that tomorrow. I'll share this live video that you can actually see over on my YouTube live, but I'll share the YouTube live on Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, and all of that, so that you guys will be able to see it. So my friend, tomorrow let's meet here again and do it all over. Till then, if you have any questions, do reach out to me, message me, shoot me an email. But until then, I'll see you tomorrow. You guys take care.